Get the goblins in here. I need to give out a weekly spanking. I will say, this week was dog shit for me. Will not expand on that too much, but just know that the vibe of this week is very much shit. Where's Phil? Phil, I don't know. He's probably playing Fortnite. Fortnite! Phil is definitely a goblin. He is definitely an accurate representation of the people in chat. Someone's putting the Russian flag. Ban them.
Keep them in.
Gremlin. He's going into my closet now.
No.
Goodbye.
Okay. See, I made it nice and awkward for Phil, and I think he understood that I wasn't on the frequency he was on. Hot tub stream when? There's no space. Oh shit! So yeah, my life is a bit of a fucking mess right now. My wife left me. Boom boom. I should probably not talk about Hong Kong because I want it to get to a point where people forget about the Hong Kong series so that when I actually fucking drop it, people are like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? It's not like they've been waiting the whole time. It's just like, oh, right. Yeah, I remember this. One of the big problems with Hong Kong videos is that nobody wants to be in it at all. There's very serious consequences to being even remotely involved in the kind of videos I'm fucking working on. Chamber of Reflection. I'm gonna be talking about this in one of the Hong Kong videos. The story behind how I ended up going to Hong Kong, without giving all the details, I believe it was my second year of university. It was just shit. I just wasn't enjoying myself, basically. And at the time, I was listening to a shit ton of music. It started with I'm Poppy, I believe is her name. I kind of had a little bit of an interest in her channel just because it was experimental. And like I checked out one of her songs. So the song's called My Kind of Woman by Mac DeMarco. Started listening to this song like pretty fucking frequently. And then randomly, I got recommended in my YouTube recommendations this fucking music video by I'm Cyborg, but that's okay. When I saw this music video, I was like, holy fuck, the visuals for this are sick. And I legit, in my small brain, I thought this was a music video that was like actually made for the fucking song, you know what I mean? But what I'm Cyborg, but that's okay does is they take a movie and they take a really nice song and they make a music video with the movie for the song and they upload it. And I'm pretty sure that I literally got recommended this like the day it was uploaded. Immediately I was like, fuck, these visuals are like beautiful. I want to see what this is from. This is where I was effectively introduced to Hong Kong cinema. The people in the comments, very thankfully, they pointed out that it was Chungking Express. I legit typed into Google Chungking Express. The entire movie was just on YouTube and it had the subs and everything. So I was like, this is perfect. And I watched it right away. It just was really fucking cool. It felt like I kind of followed a rabbit hole a little bit. Beautiful movie. One of my favorite for sure. It's confusing. It's not a perfect movie, but I kind of like that. Like, it's really, you feel the energy of the movie, and I fucking love that shit. I love when I can feel something. Especially with media, I'm like hella fucking numb. Like, if you make me feel something, you're doing something right, in my opinion. And that's from director Wong Kar-wai, who is now one of my favorite directors. I basically looked at all his fucking movies. I kind of fell in love with Hong Kong cinema in general. There's a period in the like 80s and 90s where Hong Kong cinema was the king of Asia, of Asian cinema. Before falling into this rabbit hole, I didn't know much at all about Hong Kong. Like, I didn't feel any connection to it at all. And then, basically, I felt connected, you know what I mean? Like, just watching these movies made me feel a kind of deep fucking connection to the culture there. Not even that I was, like, a part of it or anything. It's just, like, a real curiosity for it. And so, basically, when certain options opened up for me and I got the chance to decide on a place to live abroad, I chose Hong Kong. And it was nerve-wracking as fuck because it's a massive city and it's effectively viewed as like the New York of Asia or China, however you want to say it. Basically, it's just like everyone knows Hong Kong is a busy fucking city, like the business hub of the world, all that shit, just tons going on. And I was like a little boy being dropped into a fucking shark's mouth because that place swallowed me up, bro. That was the most colorful my life has ever been, like in a real way. There was a point where every single day was like, wow, like so much is happening. Basically, me being lonely one day and just clicking on this random fucking video led me down a rabbit hole that eventually basically got me curious and eventually going to Hong Kong. The circumstances around how I technically got involved with the protests is just also insane, but I guess that I should probably save for the actual videos because I need to refine that a bit because I don't want to accidentally say anything that's bad, you know? So this guy is a really interesting channel, dude. Sometimes the YouTube algorithm really does chuck me a bone in the sense of just sends me some weird fucking shit. This guy's whole channel is just this super weird kind of eerie egotism. He basically has like a security camera set up and he records himself flexing in like the elevator and like on the balcony of his fucking apartment. And he does kind of have that like weird main character in an anime type of vibe. See what I'm saying? If you're gay, you definitely, or sorry, if you're attracted to men, you know, that might have done something for you. I wouldn't know. I'm so lonely. Okay, that was weird. We're just gonna pretend that didn't happen, okay? What the fuck are we watching, bro? I'm losing my mind. I'm Gokanaru, advice for people turning 20. If you're turning 20, man, this was really a situation where I'm not a good person to give advice because when I was 20, I was pretty unhappy. Although my 20th year of being alive was actually technically very productive, to be fair. Like my power level was fairly high in that year. It's not like I haven't figured out, you know, enough to justify me claiming I do. If I have any advice, try to lift weight. The most sound advice on earth, man. Just like try to do like some kind of consistent exercise. And I don't know if you're in school or not. That's like a really big fucking factor. School can be quite cancerous depending on the circumstances. Try to not let it be, because when school feels like cancer, your whole life just feels like dog shit, basically. Like if work sucks, at least it's work, you know what I mean? You're getting paid, hopefully. But if school is just really shit for you, then not only are you probably paying for it, but you are really not getting what you're paying for. So you're giving up a lot, like your youth, your money. Just try with all your heart to make friends, even if you're not in school. Make new friends if you can. Like that's the most difficult fucking thing, man. And I'm a very fortunate guy in the sense that I have good friends, like actually good friends, you know, like lifelong friends. There's a lot of people who do not have that. Like they have convenient friends, they have friends of circumstance, they have like coworker friends. That's all temporary. That all goes away. And even like if you have like a partner, like a romantic partner, that can also go away real fast. Have a good filter for new friends too. Like really, like you need to put work into making fucking new friends, especially when you're 20. People have lives. If you don't make a really good connection with them and you don't see them again, they're not your friend, you know, kind of thing. As you get older, it only gets harder and harder to make new friends. So I'm not saying that as like a fucking black pill either. I'm saying that as like it is a good use of your time to try and either maintain or make new friends. Try to make sure those fucking friends aren't, you know, pieces of shit. If you have a common goals or common interests, that's a really big bonus. I have a lot of friends who we don't really have that much in common anymore. We're still really good friends, but like that can be a good relationship too, you know? There's just, you want to have a good range of friends. So again, I have fucking friends that are like into philosophy and shit, which I am vaguely interested in, and it's nice to hear from them, you know, because they give me the good takes, or at least I think so. And then I have friends who are big into gaming, you know, like friends big into fucking anime, friends obviously big into YouTube. I'm bad at making new friends when it's not forced, you know. Going out on your limb to make friends is difficult because if it feels forced, and it's because it is. That forcing can really help you in the long run. Because, yeah, there's nothing worse than being like 30 years old, single, and not having any friends. You could apply that to really any age, to be honest. You would hopefully want to have friends throughout your whole life. More and more as I grow older, I come to realize the importance of friends. Like, most of my life I took my friends for granted. In some places they've made up for the areas that I'm extremely unlucky in. So that's a good kind of compounding effect of having a support system of friends or whatever, is that if you're lacking in one area, they can help you out, even if it's just giving advice or whatever. Green Garnish is like spitting facts. Better to have a small circle of real friends than being surrounded by opportunists and narcissists. I had to cut those ones out of my life, especially with the YouTube shit. For me, I actually think I have a pretty good radar for people who are opportunists too much, you know what I mean? Because everyone on YouTube, to an extent, is an opportunist. Unfortunately, you have to be. Like, it just is what it is, you know? Like, I can't even judge people too much for that, but there's, like, serial opportunism, which is just literally not giving a fuck, you know what I mean? And I've encountered that a lot. Like, people, social climbing is, like, a thing, and it literally works, you know what I mean? Like, so many of the people who explode nowadays, it doesn't come from nowhere. It doesn't come from the content most of the time either. It comes from literally just interacting with the right people at the right time, you know what I mean? Just getting extremely lucky. But also, most of those situations, they like manage to finesse that like social connection or whatever. Like, especially with like big streamers and shit, like that's massive. Having a core group of solid friends, especially for me, like that aren't related to the YouTube shit, that like even if there was some kind of big drama, I could just go offline and like chill with, and they wouldn't give a fuck really about like, you know, any kind of drama. That's like super helpful. Not helpful for my career, because for a YouTube career or whatever, it probably helps to be like all in YouTube. Like all my friends are YouTubers. The only people I talk to are fucking YouTubers. I think I'm lucky that that's not the case for me. Although I should probably make more friends on YouTube. When I was younger, I was so much more gung-ho, bro. I already feel that like slowing spiritually of my ambitions, but it's okay. I'm just viewing it as I'm building up my power level right now. I'm preparing for a big fucking upswing. Do any of my friends do YouTube? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can say this, but my buddy who I was just referencing, who's big into philosophy, his name is Tony. He like on YouTube, he's referred to as One Dime. This guy is a very good friend of mine, and he makes very impressive videos. Like, it's kind of scary, to be honest, because like scarily quickly he became a better editor than me. He's just really, really growth oriented. Like, he's just really on top of his shit, and it's a bit intimidating, but I am, you know, thankful that he still finds me a fucking worthwhile person to talk to, I guess. Don't be afraid to be humbled by your friends. Like, it's one of the first things you need to learn, is like, it shouldn't be viewed as like a competition where you really want to like outdo them, or it's not even that. It's just you really don't want them to like not succeed because you're not succeeding. Like, you should both also want to like elevate each other, you know what I mean? And this is like a guy that I think that's the case with. Open question, but as someone that hasn't read a book outside of studying in legit 10 years, what do you recommend to start reading? I'm 20. I don't know if this is controversial or not, but I don't think it's ever a waste of time to read books. It really does depend on the books, to be fair, but usually reading in itself is very good, okay? When I was young, I read a shit ton. Like, I'm not even joking, like a ton. And that really helped me, like with vocabulary and like my understanding of the English language and shit like that. And now that I haven't been reading as much, I've felt that kind of regress. So reading is good, 100%. Even if you're reading like literal porn books, like 50 Shades of Grey and shit like that, like things that like grandmas get off to. I even think that's healthy, you know? Don't be afraid to read fantasy shit. I fall into that trap where it's like, I want everything I read to be a meaningful work, you know? Like something that people write essays about. If you're 20 years old and you're just looking for something solid to read, I will say some books that I liked that aren't super deep. Like, they're still solid experiences. I'm not saying they're like dumb at all, but they're more casually enjoyable. Pillars of the Earth. A random woman, when I was working a job as on a tennis court, I was like the groundskeeper at a tennis court. Random woman who was like watching her fucking husband compete or some shit. She recommended this book to me. When people recommend books to me, genuinely recommend them, like not just like a YouTuber recommending it to anybody, but when people one-on-one tell me like, yeah, you should read this book, I almost always do. And I feel like that is unusual, but it is because when I used to read books when I was younger, I never had somebody to talk about them with, because to talk to somebody about a book requires that they spend hours upon hours reading, which no one has time for, except for me when I was young. So when somebody has already read the book and they give you the recommendation, if you come back to them and are like, yo, that was a great book, that was a good recommendation, or even if you come back to them and you're like, yeah, it wasn't really my thing, but whatever. First of all, they're going to be like, wow, he actually read it, Like my words didn't fall on deaf ears, which is rare, believe it or not. But also, you can now literally discuss it, which is fun, Like discussing books is fun because it's not quite like a movie. There's so much in most books, Like because it's like almost unfiltered thoughts usually from characters and shit like that. In this book specifically, there's multiple characters you follow, and some of them are just straight up fucking crackheads, like straight up unpredictable as fuck. So it's like very interesting, If there's a piece of advice I can give, if someone recommends you a book, and it actually looks like an interesting book, like you trust them, and you have the time, then I would go for it. I would try to give it a read. They will appreciate it, Not that it's like you're doing them a favor or anything, but they'll just take note. And that's probably a good way to cement a friendship, Pillars of the Earth was solid, and I hate books set in this time period. Sorry, I hate media set in this time period. Like I don't even like movies that are set in this like 1100s Britain. Basically the focus is kind of on like building a church, which is like the pillar of the earth or whatever. But it's so much fucking more than that. Like, it has everything, fuck. It has the action, it's got the feels, it's got the sex. Solid book. My math teacher, who I didn't like, to be honest, I actually didn't like her. I won't deny that she was a decent teacher, but I didn't like her for other reasons. Like, she was just she was really mean. Which, again, I have a certain level of respect for that because she was not a bad teacher, She was just harsh. But yeah, she recommended this book randomly, and I'm like, what is a math teacher doing randomly recommending a book? So I was like, it must be decent if she's recommending it, right? It's pretty good. Although I will say it's less satisfying than Pillars of the Earth. It's an experience. It's like a very unique fucking narrative experience. It's divided in really weird ways. It's funny how things kind of like compound with me, but if I hadn't read this book, I wouldn't have created a little custom piece of content actually, because when I was in high school, I created a short film, but it's not really that. It was more like a trailer. Like it was supposed to be a 1 minute long trailer for the book, and it was a competition in my local like city or whatever. This book, it's about an apocalypse, but it also covers before the apocalypse. Basically, both of the books I recommended, Pillars of the Earth and this, they take a super brave. They do a super brave move that you wouldn't think books would do, that most media don't do. Like, I finished this book and I felt a bit, not even unsatisfied, but just a bit empty. And not because the book's bad. Like, I know that was kind of the point. Like, by the end of it, it's like an apocalypse situation, Go.
You're now aware that the virus has reached the Greater Toronto area. Local hospitals have already admitted beyond capacity, and it is advised that citizens stay indoors and away from people who've come in close contact with the ill. This Georgia flu has ravaged the populace of Russia in recent hours, and it seems...
That was based on this fucking book. It was very loosely based. I kind of shystered a bit in the competition or whatever, but it's basically loosely based on a part where like one of the main characters, the apocalypse starts and he's just holed up in his fucking apartment for like forever. I was probably 17 when I did that, so I definitely could have done it better, but it was kind of cute. Old Man in the Sea is good, but it's also super depressing for me. That's a book that I feel that shit, but it's not uplifting. You always think that Old Man of the Sea is supposed to be really motivational. It's not. The thesis of the book is the old man gets defeated by the sea. It's like poised as the old man versus the marlin, which is like the fish he's trying to catch. But the old man, he forgets that the sea is the real enemy. There's many beautiful metaphors you can make for that for sure, but a bit of a black pill type of storyline. I can understand why that's like a real classic. Like there's some classics I'll read and I don't really fully get it. I'm just like, why is this so influential? That's one that I get. I just spoiled it. Now, to be fair, that's not a full-on spoiler. I actually made it sound worse than it is. It's still worth reading, and it's not a lot of work. Like it's not Moby Dick. The Old Man in the Sea is like 80 pages or something, and you can literally read it in like a day or two. Oh, baby. Oh.